Before I start, I just want to say, it's been mentioned about the recognition of traveller ethnicity that happened on the 1st of March 2017. And I just want to say that for me, it was a monumental day as a traveller woman. And while it may not seem like a big deal to other people, and it might just seem like it was just another day or whatever it may be, as a traveller woman, it was very important for your state to actually turn around and recognise what you've known all along, is that you're a member of a minority ethnic group. So I just wanted to say that. This presentation is going to be a very brief outline of the extensive work that has been going on around the ethnic identifier. So I'm just going to, most people probably know who PowerPoint is at this stage, but if you don't, I'm just going to talk about it. So PowerPoint is a traveller enrolment centre and was established the year that I was born in 1985. So not to make any of you feel old or anything. So it's committed to the realisation of human rights for travellers in Roma in Ireland. And it's a partnership of travellers in Roma and obviously members of the majority population. And we represent travellers in Roma and issues at local, regional, national and international levels. Some of the programmes that we have are the Health, Violence Against Women, Drugs and Alcohol, Roma Project, CE. And obviously some of the programmes have also been closed due to funding cuts like the education, youth, media and communications. But something that is embedded through all of our programmes is a need for the disaggregated data. And for the context of today, PowerPoint is recognised nationally and internationally for expertise on ethnic equality monitoring. So who currently collects ethnic data? The CSO, primary and secondary schools, HSE, PUBL, homeless services. We're currently obviously working with the IPS. And PowerPoint have been advocating for an ethnic identifier for over 20 years. And we have been successful insofar that obviously these services are collecting ethnic data in some form. We've worked with these bodies, and one of the biggest misunderstandings that has come up is whether or not it's legal to collect this information. So, is it legal? Yes, it is. Collecting ethnic data is legal under Irish and European data protection laws, as long as the following data protection principles are respected. That it's a universal question, so that it's asked of everybody. It's not just focused on who you might think is from a minority group. It's informed consent, so the person that you're asking the question knows exactly what they're being asked and why they're being asked it. And it has to be voluntary self-identification, so it has to be self-ascribed. You can't decide that someone is a traveller because they might have a certain name or their address is that of a halting site, whatever. They may be, but it's up to them to turn around and self-identify. Information has to be accurate and only used for the purpose which is collected, so it cannot be shared around to every Tom, Dick and Harry, whoever you feel like sharing it to. That just can't happen. And information has to be kept confidential and anonymous, so individuals are not recognised, and so it's obviously aggregated. So the UN Treaty monitoring bodies, European institutions, national, international equality and human rights bodies, MEG, migrant NGOs and traveller Roma organisations support the collection, analysis and use of ethnic data once the national data protection legislation is adhered to and the following human rights principles are respected. As I said, it's a universal question, informed consent, voluntary, that the data is disaggregated in a timely manner. And what's important about this is that it has to be given to the key stakeholders. You can't just, in order for the information to be used, it needs to be given to the right people. And ethnic data collection analysis would allow for evidence-based policy making and measurement of policy outcomes for travellers as well. It would be good basically for both travellers and the Irish Prison Service, because it allows for the prisons to plan effectively for services. It also allows, it was mentioned earlier on about kind of travellers being overrepresented in prisons. It would actually allow for comparisons of crimes as well. So are travellers being given the same sentences for the same crimes of their settled counterparts? That's very important. If we have that kind of data, that we'll be able to actually turn around and identify discrimination as it's happening. It's also important as well basically to know who is using what services within the prisons as well. So are travellers uptaking different schemes and stuff like that, which is obviously important. And obviously evaluation of interventions and policies in consultation with key stakeholders and organisations representing minority ethnic groups. So we welcome the support from the IPS and the high-level buy-in in recognising the need for an ethnic identifier within the IPS. Michael Donnellan, the Director General, acknowledges, saying it was needed to enable the IPS to deliver services to travellers in prison which are most suited to meeting their needs, both in prison and preparing them for life post-release. When we know the correct ethnic origin of the traveller population in prison, we can plan and deliver workshops, education programmes, drug treatment and counselling services that are more traveller-centred. So the question that is up there at the minute is the current question that is being used by the IPS, and it's not really kind of fit for purpose, because it's not really relevant to Irish society. So at the end of this year, there's going to be a rollout of the CSO question, which is this one. And while it's not perfect, it is more fit for the Irish context, and hopefully in time it'll be expanded to include a more diverse Ireland. So, as I said, we've been supporting the IPS in rolling out of the ethnic identifier. The IPS has agreed to amend the question and roll it out before the end of 2017, and we recognise the challenges of the ethnic data collection. PEV Pine has also worked collaboratively with the Travel Prison Service, or Travel Prison Initiative and the IPS, to develop staff knowledge and understanding of the ethnic data, ethnic identifiers and ethnic equality monitoring, and obviously the relevance of collecting and using ethnic data in prisons, and challenges and sensitivities in collecting the data. So some of the challenges and sensitivities that we were kind of looking at when we were given training, and we were talking to the TLOs and the ACOs, and we were kind of asking basically about there's time constraints obviously around committal interviews, but obviously that you have to look at the state of mind of people who are, if you're just in prison and all of a sudden you're in front of this person and they're asking you these questions, it may just kind of be not the right time to ask the question, or they may not be in the best frame of mind. So obviously we're looking at the challenges around that, and we were discussing the practicalities of maybe asking the question again at a later state when it might be, people may be in a more calmer state of mind. We have also provided IPS with the following support. So we're promoting voluntary self-identification amongst prisoners. We're doing our awareness raising amongst staff and prisoners, and we started to train staff who will be asking the question. So we did an initial pilot in Castlereagh, and based on the feedback, we adapted and expanded aspects of the training in order to clarify questions around the ethnic identifier itself and other areas. We did follow-up training in Portlaoise Training College, and with the changes made, we really got good engagement from those in attendance, and the feedback from this training was also really positive, because it went from kind of a half-day training to a full day, because it needed to be expanded in order for people to be able to ask the question. But we should also acknowledge as well that even with the best of training, there are some people who are just not going to self-identify, and basically that's their own prerogative and that's just the way it is. But with the best of training, we do think that it'll be a better uptake and people may be more comfortable, especially as the data will be comparative among the other services, and that if someone changes from one service to another, someone's working one service and goes to another service, they won't have to get new training because it'll be the same question. And as well as that, it means that there'll be less questions asked as well by service users, because we'll be getting used to this question. It's asked everywhere, it's asked of everybody, and it actually makes people more comfortable as well. And we've also been helping to develop practical resources for staff and prisoners. So we've helped to develop the ethnic identifier leaflet here. But also as well, we've been having discussions with some of the people that we were doing the training with, and there was talks around maybe that it might be something good to do, to have a video playing in the holding cells, so people are more aware of maybe the question coming up as well. So that's all from me. Thanks very much.